So what happens very often is these rats sue somebody and the person is never even served with the lawsuit. Then these rats run to court and lie, and they tell the judge, "Yes, Your Honor, John Smith was served on such and such date and he never responded." Not knowing better, the judge issues a judgment. Now these rats know that after some time it's really difficult to have the judgment set aside or canceled. So what do? They wait 2-3 years before they start garnishing wages. At this point they think it's checkmate, but it isn't. So let's say these rats sued me and didn't tell me they sued me. They waited 3 years, then they started garnishing my wages. What do I do to stop the bleeding? I immediately file for a claim of exemption. I ask the court to exempt some or all of my income from the rats collection. To do this, I need Form WG006. This is where I enter in the case information. My name, address, phone number, and email address. I enter the courthouse location information here. I can find this information on the earnings withholding order that was given to my boss. This is the document the rat served on my employer when they tried to take my paycheck. This is an important section for me to read and just to keep an eye on. The rat debt collector is the plaintiff. I'm the defendant. Here I enter the case number. Here I enter my name. Here I tell the court how much money I need from each paycheck to support myself and my family. The closer this number is to the total amount I get paid, the more likely a court is to either grant my claim or decide a reduced amount should be withheld from my paycheck. Here I request the court to send all of the papers related to this claim to me directly. This is where I put the address the court should send the records to. Here I have two choices. First, I can check the none box. This tells the court that I can't spare a dime to these rat debt collectors. In other words, I'm asking the court to allow me to keep my entire paycheck. The downside to this is that if I ask the court to keep my entire check, then it's more likely these rats will decide to fight this in court. Or I can ask the court to order a reduced amount to be held from each paycheck. For example, say these rats want to garnish $300 from each paycheck, but I can't afford that. So I decide I can afford $75 a month. I check box B and put $75 for each pay period. If these rats decide that the amount is enough, they won't contest this claim of exemption. The court won't set a hearing and I'll have the reduced amount taken from my paycheck. But if these rats want to fight this, they'll file an opposition and the judge will either side with me, the rat, or pick a number somewhere in the middle. Here I inform the court how often I'm paid. Notice how I'll have to attach a financial statement form to this claim, and we have a separate video that you could watch on that. Here I print, date, and sign my name. Keep in mind, I do not file this document with the court. I send 2 copies of this form to the levying officer. To find out who the levying officer is, I need to look at the earnings withholding order that was served on my employer. The beauty of this process is that I can file this form even if these rats have been garnishing my wages for months or years. I could go in and request the court to reduce the amount. For example, say these rats are taking $200 out of my paycheck each week. Even after 1 year, I can request the court to reduce this amount to nothing, or say $25. But remember, I want to do this ASAP. Not tomorrow, not next week, today.